Hey, what's going on everyone? This is Mike Kollin at MikeKollin.com. And the name of the song is Keep It Wavy by Punch Deck. Alright, so this video, something happened to me 48 hours ago and I've been in a really good mood. No, really, I mean it. First of all, though, I love this song. I just found the song about 30 minutes ago and thought I was going to use it. It's kind of very light, it's very bouncy, it's fresh, it's upbeat, yet it has a warmth to it. It's kind of a warm, comforting feel to it. Guys, if you're listening to me, if you've noticed, I used a lot of descriptive languaging, a lot of descriptive words in my communication. It's because women love it. Buy my book, Crack the Female Code, and find out. Alright, so let's get to it. I'm going to turn the music down now and a little bit more in about 30 seconds. Okay, so something happened to me about, I would say 72 hours ago. I made a video and it is called, It Was an Illusion, It Shattered Your Life. Okay, that was, I think, 2 videos before this one. So essentially a theme has kind of popped up in my face, and I believe it's a theme that all of you have been dealing with your entire life because of dealing with narcissists. So I bump into this guy and he says something radical, and I remember, okay, I always know when there is a meant to be, like God, spirit, you know, like it's something like, hey, you're meant to have this experience, you're supposed to hear something this person has to say, and it's in the way that they say it, because it's like a you know, like a lock where you have a code like 3 to the right, 4 to the left, etc. They're going to unlock this code for you to finally have a realization. So essentially what happened was I had this very expansive feeling, and I was like, whoa, like, in every time I get that expansive feeling, it's a shift in energy is what's happening. And when that happens, I'm like, okay, I'm supposed to learn something from this person. So in that video that I mentioned, the video's name is It Was All an Illusion, It Shattered Your Life. In that video, I talk about this guy, and the main thing that happens is he says something that's the complete, total opposite of my life experience. So I'm telling him about my life and all the bad stuff, etc., and how physically painful and abusive, blah, 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 all that BS. And he's like, wow, man, that's really deep, that's really painful. And then he goes on to tell me the complete opposite of how his mother praised him, and it was so high that it damaged him. And I was like, wait, what are you saying? She would essentially, if he learned like the stupidest thing on the guitar that was super easy, she would like literally call the neighbors, call his cousins, call his grandparents. Oh my God, you're not going to believe what he did. Blah, blah, like just like act like he was Elvis Presley or the President of the United States, or, you know, like the world champion, like kickboxer or something like that, you know. And he's like, Mike, you don't understand. Like, I can never live up to that standard that she's painted me out to be to all these people. He's like, I'm just not that good at anything. So he had this massive fear of failure, and I'm like, well, why? He was like, if I fail, I'm not this perfect being. And he goes, it's absolutely humiliating. And I'm like, wait, what? He goes, I can never be good enough. So he also says my mother set the bar too high. He goes, she didn't do it on purpose. He goes, I know my mom loves me. He goes, it's just by constantly doing this. It's like this bar is so far above me. He goes, I'll never achieve it. Now here's the funny thing. You guys, us empaths, it's been the complete opposite. We were criticized and people were critical of us of any little, even if we did something good, even if we won. Like I had won a state championship in boxing, and the first thing that happened is my family just ignored me. They didn't care. And the next morning, and I was really sad. So it was a Saturday morning, and I rode my bicycle to the elementary school that I used to go to, and he just showed up about 5 minutes later, and he goes, you know what, why don't you just quit boxing? I'm like, why? He goes, you suck. You're no good at it. I'm like, what? I just won a state championship last night. I mean, he goes, so what? He goes, you suck. He goes, you're no good at it. I'm like, well, maybe I'm not Muhammad Ali, but I mean, I'm pretty good at my age class at least. He goes, nah. He goes, you suck, and then he rode off. So this is where imposter syndrome comes from. Even when you achieve high goals and you do very well at something, you excel at it, they come in to crash your party and tell you you're no good, you suck, you're one of the worst people in the country, why don't you just quit? So this kept happening. I literally got straight A's for years, and I would get punished for it. Now, oh, you're no good. And they would comment, oh, you're stupid. You're stupid. That's all I heard as I was a kid. You're dumb. You're an idiot. So it was like, no matter how good I did, it was never good enough. Which, now here's the thing. As I'm talking to this guy, I'm like, man, my brain is expanding. It's seeing something, making connections that I've never made before, and I realized, like, this is the key to unlocking the door. So what stood out in front of my face, probably for the first time in my life, like really consciously, like I saw, it's like I'm not good enough, and that's how I felt inside. It was like no matter what I did, it's just like I'm never good enough. Because they punish you, they pick you apart, they make stuff up, they belittle your accomplishments, and they're doing all of this on purpose to try to get you to stop. But here's the really cool thing. Now, as I'm listening to this guy telling me the reason why he's hooked on drugs, why he's living such a shitty life, why he's a failure, is because his mother loved him, she doted on him, she took care of him. And he even said, he goes, I know my mother loves me. He goes, Michael, my mother's not a bad woman at all. And he goes, she would take me in right now. And I'm like, so what's the problem? He goes, she set the bar so high. He goes, I'll never achieve that. He goes, I'm not good enough. Now, I'm kind of like, the first time I was like, wait, wow. Like, my brain's like, what? Like, I'm looking at this guy like, what? I wanted to punch him in the head at first. I'm like, what? And then there's something about the way he said it, like, oh my God, it's funny because on the flip side of the coin, because I got punished so much and nothing was ever good enough, I had the same exact problem. I always felt like I wasn't good enough. Now you might be thinking, oh, you must be feeling bad. No, I was feeling really excited. I was like, oh, I got this. It's like, man, how do I explain this? It's like that one thing that was eluding you your entire life. Pop goes the weasel. It suddenly, for the first time in my life, it popped up right in front of my face. I could see it for the first time in my life. And it's like, oh, I got you. So my brain started clicking. All the techniques, the stuff that I've learned, I'm like, oh, I'm going to get this. I know I can figure this one out. See, believe it or not, the biggest challenge for healing yourself is knowing what it is. What is, because a lot of times you're like, I don't know. I think it's because I don't like the way people talk to me, or I don't like when this happens at the grocery store. No, those are all like, think of it as there's a big root and it's underneath the ground. And outside is the tree stems and the branches and the stuff and the leaves and stuff. All those things are what is the result of it. So when you start to smoke cigarettes, you start to get eczema, you start to get lung problems, you start to get this. Oh, well, let's fix the lungs. No, it's not the lungs. The lungs are not the problem. The eczema is not the problem. That is the result of something causing it. So one thing we learned in NLP is if you can get to the root cause, you got it. All of the stuff disappears. So all the anxiety, the skin problems, the lung problems, the breathing problems, all the issues that come from that one root disappears. One thing we learned in NLP is what most therapy does. It tries to, how do I say this? They try to deal with the external factors that come after the root cause. And so they never get to the root. They're like, okay, well, let's bandage this up. Let's fix this. Let's deal with this. And yet, okay, watch this. So there's a lot of things I can do to help you stop smoking. Like do hypnosis. I could set an anchor to where you hate cigarettes. It makes you throw up, and you can't never do it again. But the problem is smoking cigarettes is not the root problem. It's what's causing you to go to the cigarette smoking, okay? And this is what we call the trigger or the root. So if we suddenly get you to stop smoking through hypnosis, it's like the problem, the root of it will sprout out somewhere else. Like, okay, so all of a sudden you can't stop scratching your head, or you got hair loss because now you have an anxiety, now you got a nervous tick or nervous itch, and you keep scratching and scratching, and now you've got skin issues, and now, all of a sudden all these problems pop up elsewhere, and that's what happens when you just stop smoking. You have to get to the root cause. When you get to the root and you pull the root, all the other external problems that are connected to it are suddenly gone. So here I am talking to this guy, and I kept complimenting him. I was like, hey man, you're a pretty smart dude. You're very social. You're really good at communicating. Most people your age aren't that good, blah, 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 especially males. And he goes, I got to go, dude. And so I was like, oh, okay. And so then he came back after I walked out of the store. I said, hey man, can I talk to you about something? I'm like, yeah. He goes, I really want to say blah, blah, blah. And then I started complimenting him. He goes, oh, yeah, dude. And he literally got up instantly and walked away. I'm like, God, that guy's just weird. And then I complimented him a third time. And he started to walk away. As he was walking away, he goes, yeah, I know, man. Just like my mom. He goes, you're just like my mom. Can't stop complimenting me. He goes, I haven't done anything. I burst out laughing. And he kind of looked at me like, what the fuck? And I go, you mean it's that bad? He goes, yes. He goes, I told you that. I was like, so my brain, this locked it in. It's like, oh, this guy's like being for real. This guy's serious. What I realized was this whole thing is an illusion. But then I reflected back on me. And I'm like, I have the same illusion. It just came from the other side of the fence, but it's still the illusion. Or the same illusion. Now, I'm not foreign to this. This isn't some new real. They've taught us years ago in psychology, and especially during NLP and Ericksonian hypnosis, most of us are living this false illusion, and we don't even realize it's not even real. Here's the deal. Even though I was physically abused and beaten, humiliated, shamed, belittled, it's how to explain this. You're like, but Michael, that was real. Yeah, it was real back then, okay? But it's not here now. I'm not anywhere near those people anymore. And you're like, yeah, but what about the people we bump into? Yeah, they can. But the thing is, it wasn't even real to them. They knew that I was good at what I was doing. That was a whole fantasy, an entire lie that they were making up in their head. Okay, so as I walked away from this guy, I'm like, okay, well, I have the issue now. Like, I've got it. I mean, I've got it. I'm holding it by my freaking hand, essentially. And I'm thinking, how do I fix this? And that was that's kind of the second part. Like, well, is it just going to suddenly have a realization by itself? Is it going? Because sometimes when you have this conscious awareness of something, like, oh, so that's what it is. It's not even real. A lot of times, that alone, boom, in the next few hours, 72 hours, it's going to just delete and be done. So about 48 hours ago, I had a life-changing experience. Now you might think, well, isn't what you just told us? No, that led to what happened literally almost 48 hours to this hour. So I'm sure all of you know by now, just by reading at the beginning of my videos, I'm an energy healer, certified in Reiki, Huna, Pranic healing, and I've also studied energy medicine for longer than I've studied all the other three combined. And over the years, I've done some really, really, really incredible stuff. I'm sure you've seen my video with Adam where he talks about the energy healing I did on him and all these other people on my YouTube channel. And you would think, like, oh, I'm sure he's very confident in his energy healing abilities. No. And I just figured out why. So I've healed people of cancer, I've healed people of spinal issues, I've healed people of, whatever, okay? Now, I've also healed myself. Now, I'm going to show you a picture where I had a cancer on my face. And if you were watching my YouTube videos back around 2020, 21, 22, you would have seen this mark, this growth on my face getting larger and larger and larger. And finally, a friend goes, Michael, you've got to go see a doctor. That's freaking cancer. Because about 3 months before that, maybe 6 months, he had just had some taken off of his nose and he was really freaking out about it. So I admit I kind of ignored it. I first thought, oh, it's just a zit that's underneath the skin that just won't pop and it's swelling and swelling. But this was over a year. This was like a year and a half, maybe even 2+ years. This was a long, long time. And I finally looked at it like, yeah, that's not normal. Something's not right. Now I'm leading up to something here, okay? Okay. So there's other things, like from my accident, I had this big like fatty deposit on the top of my head under the skin, and my haircutter was like, Michael, you've got to get that fixed. That's gross, because it was seeping and pus. It was gross. So I finally went to my doctor. He's, yeah, because he cut it open, he took it out, and he's, yeah, because the problem is they keep coming back. He goes, I'll try it another time. He goes, Michael, I'm telling you, it's gonna come back, and it did. Like within 3 months, it came back. I'm like, oh my god. So he did it one more time, and then what happened was my hair cutter complained again. I thought, you know what? I'm going to do some energy healing on this. Now, I had that for, oh God, 6, 7, 8 years. It was wild that I had that. So I did an energy healing session on it, and lo and behold, pop, about 7 days later, completely gone. Okay, and then I had some skin tags on my eyes, and they were really, like my eyelids, and they were really just irritating me, and pop, got rid of all of those. And then there was this facial thing, and I remember driving by my doctor's office. I was literally at the light, and I looked, and I thought, I'm just going to walk and make an appointment. I thought, no, you know what? I'm going to do an energy healing session on it. I'm going to see if I can do it first. If I can't get this, and I think it was like a week or 2 weeks, and then I'm going to go in. So my friend that was like, hey, you got to take care of this, he gave me the card to his doctor, the cancer specialist, skin cancer specialist, and then he said, I will pay for your first session. He goes, you have to go see her. Anyway, so I took a left turn at the light and I went home, and I'm feeling kind of cocky, like, I can do this. And I just had a feeling like I can do this. Sure enough, I did it, and poop, it's gone. So when I was doing the healing session, you get like these images, and this is like, if I do a session with you, I will tell you like, hey, here's what's going on, blah, blah, blah. And it essentially showed me, like, in a way, it didn't say it with words, but it's like, hey, this thing's going to scab up in about 5 days, almost fall off, but don't touch it. Leave it alone. And in about another 7 or 8 days, it will literally just fall off. And it did, and it was perfectly smooth skin. The only difference is because the sun couldn't get to it, it was white. It was very pale at that one. I had like this white spot on my face, which I kind of laughed at and realized, like, yeah, once I get some sun, it'll come back to normal. And it did. So you would think at this point, like, I would have total, complete confidence in it, and I didn't. And I just discovered why. So whenever I would go to an energy healer, I would feel this energy going through me. Sometimes it would rush through, sometimes it was gentle. It was always this expansive feeling, etc., etc. And I could physically feel it. I mean, I got to the point where when she was doing the session, even if I was dead asleep, I would wake up, go to the email, say, hey, you're doing a session right now, aren't you? I can feel it. And she'd always message me back like, yeah, I just did it, and here's the results, etc., etc. And she'd type all that out. So the other thing is, when I worked with clients, now here's the other side. This was a really kind of mind twister. I feel people of everything you can imagine, spinal injuries, hip injuries, things that doctors couldn't fix. And this is why they would always come to me kind of as a last resort. Like, hey, I've been to like 6 doctors. I've done all this therapy. I've done this. I've done, like, nothing's working. And so I've done some incredible things with people. And you would think that, oh, you're totally confident. And like, no. And here's the really weird thing, is because I couldn't feel it. All right. And when I would do sessions on myself for physical ailments, yeah, they would heal. They would pop off, and this happened, that would be gone. But I didn't feel the energy flowing through me. Okay. And because of that, now I wasn't conscious of this, but because of that, I really wasn't sure. So when people would tell me, like, man, I felt this energy going through, and here's the deal: these are people that have never gone to a healer before, never done this type of healing, and they're like, man, I could feel this energy. It was the most incredible thing in the world. And they would just go like, yeah, that's exactly what it's like when I have an energy healer do work on me. So because I wasn't getting that feeling, I would literally think like, oh, they're lying to me. They're just saying this. Even when one of my, well, actually, this is the second one. I actually spoke to her doctor, and her doctor flat out said, like, yeah, like what did you do? Like nothing I did would help her. And so I've had some really strong, what you would call in NLP, we call these convincers. So I just graduated. This is a journey that started when I was about 4 years old. The first day that I saw the picture of Jesus, and they said, this guy heals people. And I was like, really? And I remember in my mind, like, I want to learn how to do that. I wanted to know if this was real, if God was real, if Jesus was real, if healing was real, if the spirit world was real. That's really what this was all about for me. So as this caption I made a couple years ago, everything we've been taught from Buddha to Jesus, Spirit, it's real, all of it. So I'm leading up to what happened, okay? And then it suddenly made sense to me. So after meeting this guy, I really realized the root cause of what's holding me back from every area of my life, from dating women, asking a woman out, to making money, to believing in my energy healing abilities, even people who've just been absolutely blown away, doing all these incredible things for pretty much my entire life since I was a kid. Still didn't believe. I had a really hard time believing, but something happened. When I say I graduated, I mean I graduated with honors. I graduated at the top of the class. I got my doctorate degree. I got my 5th degree black belt stripe finally. I have arrived. I am an energy healer. So this guy said something, it triggers something in me, it expands my energy. I have this shift going on. I have this real keen awareness of everything in my life is being affected because I don't believe I'm good enough. No, even when I win a national championship, I'm still not good enough. Man, it hit me like a ton of bricks. Like, this is the root. This is the problem. This is what's been causing me all these problems in every area of my life. And I finally had a hold of it. The funny thing is, I was actually pretty patient about it. It's like, yeah, this is going to happen this one way or another, like this, because I know I wrote it down. Like, I wrote it down, like, I'm not good enough. That's what the problem is. So I kind of tinkered around with it, and I kind of did this, and went back to YouTube and was, just doing my thing. And then something kind of, I don't want to say something inspired me, but something inside was like, do it now. So I essentially did some stretching, some deep breathing, a little bit of meditation, not too much. And then what I did was I have this technique where I lay down in my bed and I ground myself. I bring my awareness down inside. And, Before this, though, I prayed, and I prayed fervently. Essentially, I was just praying to God, like, God, I just want to be a healer. This is what I want. I want to be a healer. Please give me my energy healing abilities back. Because I felt like the narcissist took them from me. I really did. And I was like, God, please help me to open up. Let me. And I was praying and praying. And I finally laid in bed and I grounded myself. Okay. Now, grounding yourself is something you really should learn how to do. And I do have a course and a class. And I do one-on-one coaching on how to do this. Now, mind you, I had done a 5-day fast. I did 2 days where I did 14 hours fasting, only had 1 meal a day. And then the next 3 days, I did no food at all, nothing, okay? Not even juice, nothing at all, just water and fasting. What this does, it opens you up spiritually if you do it long enough. Okay, so there I am in bed. I'm grounding myself. I'm doing the part of the energy healing where I bring the light, love, and energy healing into my body from God, from the universe, from the spirit, whatever you want to call it. And it's flowing through me. And to ground, the second piece is you have to really learn how to let go. Where your heart's not tight, your solar plexus, your gut, everything is loose and just literally you have to completely totally emotionally let go to where your ego, you'll feel it open up. Your forehead will pop open and you will expand. And yes, I can do this with you over the phone or in person. When I show you how to do this, I do it energetically so you can have a physical feeling experience of it. And you're like, oh, that. Because a lot of you're coming from your ego and you don't even know it. So while I was doing this, I noticed this energy came into me. I'm like, wait, what is that? Like, who's doing that? I was like, oh, that's probably my energy healer. She's probably doing a session on me right now. And that's what I assumed, right? So afterwards, I did email her, and she emailed me last night. She goes, Michael, I haven't even done anything. So as I'm grounding myself in my bed, I'm completely opening up and letting go. I'm allowing this energy to flow into me and through me. And it was kind of a light, comfortable rush of energy coming into me. And the one thing I prayed for was I wanted to feel good inside. Now I had done this about a year and a half ago. Okay, I just got, because I had so much anxiety. In fact, during this stage, for the last week or so, I really had like this dark feeling, almost the feeling of death inside. And it was, I'm not even going to try to explain it, it'll take too long, but man, it really bothered me. And I did not like this feeling that I was having. So I remembered I had done this about a year and a half ago, and I remember like I just walked around. I remember going at the store, like I had no anxiety, nothing was tight. I just like it was like, how do I explain this feeling? It's like kind of like when you cuddle like a little cute little kitten and you're cuddling it. It's like, but the feeling was inside, in my gut, in my chest, in my solar plexus, my heart area. So for the last 48 hours, I've been walking around like this cute cuddly kitty. On the inside, probably on the outside looking like this lion here, but on the inside, it's just been this cute, cuddly, warm, fuzzy, I don't know how to explain it. It's kind of a loose, kind of smooth feeling. It just feels really, really good. And you know what's really cool? The people around me can feel it. Like, it's funny, I went to the grocery store and everyone's looking at me, and it's kind of an interesting thing to experience. You do affect other people's energy with your energy. So when you have this really warm, smooth, loving, calm energy, it really affects people in a very, very positive way. So the convincer for me was having that energy rush through me, flow through me, and feeling it like when I have another energy healer do it to me. I've never been able to do an energy healing session on myself and have that feeling. And I realize now it's because the energy sessions that I was doing on myself was to fix physical ailments on like the outside of my skin or, whatever. And when I did this, I was like, oh, this feels so good. Not only was that my convincer, what I healed was that I'm not good enough. Remember how I tell you guys, like, don't tell me what you don't want, tell me what you do want. So if you've got like this pain of I'm not good enough, no matter what I do, it's this feeling of inadequacy and whatever inside, and it hurts. Like, you have to stop and imagine. And it's a little challenging because you just want to, I have this feeling inside. Okay, I get it. You got this bad feeling. I get it. But what do you want? So if you didn't have this, what do you want? What would be the complete flip side opposite? And so I remember feeling like I wanted to feel good inside. And I thought, I want to feel good enough. Because that's the goal. Most of us, like, we want to be a world champion, want to have a perfect marriage. We want to win all the trophies or like get good grades. And what's our purpose for doing all that? What's our highest purpose? Is it because I want to feel good enough? I want to be done with this chasing of trying to be good enough, trying to achieve a higher goal that makes me feel good enough about myself. I wanted to just be there. I just wanted to feel good enough. I wanted to feel good inside. I wanted to feel relaxed and calm and smooth. I wanted to have that same soft energy I had about a year and a half ago inside my body. It was in my belly and my chest and my heart, and it felt so free and refreshing. It was like this deep breathing feeling, like a deep breath of fresh, crisp, cool morning air. It just felt good. So I remember when I was doing the part where I'm like, well, what do I want? If I don't want this horrible feeling inside, like what? Well, I want that good feeling that I just described in depth a moment ago. I want to feel that goodness inside. I want to feel good inside. And I remember as I was acknowledging that and realizing that, I had this kind of realization just behind it going, once you get this, everything in your life's going to fall into place. It's going to shift everything. The way you approach learning, the way you approach starting and doing projects. It's not going to be, oh my God, what if I do it wrong? Like all that stuff is gone. There's just good feeling. Even making this YouTube video, it's just different. It's like I don't have, I'm not even going to try to explain it. It just feels good. So the one thing that I want you guys to realize is you can change. You can heal 100%. Absolutely. Healing is real. Shifting is real. Changing is real. You can do it if you really, really want to. So something that I call the art of letting go, it's something that I mastered over 20 years ago from meditating. You just let go. It's like, man, it's like almost like being in the ocean. Because I remember a time I went to Hawaii, I swam out just past the reef. And the wave was pulling me in and pulling me out in between these two massive reefs. It was probably about 30, 40 feet deep, and it's pulling me. And I was underneath the water too. And I just completely let go. It was the most amazing feeling in the world. What I'm trying to say is, it's one thing, oh yeah, it's all about letting go. I can hear it in your voice. When you're talking up from your forehead and your throat's tight, like you're obviously not letting go. You have to truly learn how to let go. You have to truly learn how to open your chakras. You have to let everything completely release. I'll tell you guys what, I will do another internal awareness course. That's where you learn how to ground yourself. This is also about how to learn to let go. I will teach you a series of techniques, and it will give you an opportunity for your energy to experience my energy when it's open. If you guys contact me, you message in the down in the boxes below. And here's another thing. I'm going to have, here's the deal. If I can get 10 people that will commit to attending, that will put a deposit down of, let's say, $50 each, okay? We can do this. I will set it up. I'll rent the hotel space. You guys can come into town and we'll do this class. So the deposit's going to be $50. I think I'm not sure how I'm going to charge you guys, because I might do the second day of Why Men Just Don't Get It. It's a course for women, but men can attend. It is an eye-opening course. So if you guys truly, truly want to do this, and you see, it's one thing is last time we did this, a couple people said, yeah, I'll do it. I'll come into town. And then like nobody followed through. If you guys are willing to put a deposit down so I don't lose my money renting the space, I'm more than willing to do it. And if there's someone out there who wants to help me set up this workshop, I would really, really appreciate that if you know how. And if you have a group of friends, if we can get at least 10 people to do this, I will rent the space. All right. And just as always, I do one-on-one coaching for internal awareness, emotional grounding, and also any kind of healing work. And remember, my specialty is in dating and relationship coaching. I made some powerful discoveries you won't hear from, you can't learn from anyone else on the planet. This is something that I created, something that I discovered that I promise you will shift everything. God bless you guys. Thank you for listening to this video. I'll see you in the next video. Remember, click subscribe, click the like button, and remember there's also a donation button. It's a PayPal link right there in the description box. God bless you guys. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.